What is time? See, time was never meant for you to control, it's meant for you to bend. Time is a construct of measurement for the logical thinking mind, rationality, which is one of the reasons how one would be illuminated by incarnating here on earth, is to experience how energy moves when you're not spiritually conscious, when you're not tapped in and plugged in from beyond the veil, which is how I usually say in other videos, into the here and now. And I did say in the past video that it's very human for one to grow roots within your ancestral lineage, not limited to your bloodline, to the many ancestors that you have here in Mother Earth, sort of as a remembrance as you incarnate in this life path. And the challenge is that the game here with time is that the illusion is that everything's linear. Everything needs to be broken down, hierarchical, from having everything on the playing board. And just like a triangle, the tip becomes the one possibility extracted from the field of possibilities, and you start dwindling, almost as in math. So math and physics can prove this. Living with your 5 extraordinary senses, such as your seeing and your hearing and your experiencing, although seemingly limitless, but enables you to the capacity of limitations. To that, looking at space with a telescope and seeing a fragment from you being the source, and now you're seeing the triangle go this way with what the technology of a telescope, as an example, can provide. Yet that's simply a piece of the pie of your experiences when you're looking at things from the left thinking mind, which is in theory supposed to be the divine masculine. This is how the divine masculine, not gender, and it's not gender that I'm speaking of. The divine masculine within a soul is how you can expand possibilities beyond the conscious field, thus making these new expansions conscious to you. Once you can align the awareness to something that you have not experienced within the limitations of your 5 extraordinary senses, then you can expand the divine masculine, thus engendering the divine feminine, where in union, once you're using those two as harmonics and musicality, tonicity, sound, resonance, and as you become the receiver that you are and you tune into the frequency with your inner knowing, you expand and enliven new channels, new frequencies that become remembered into your experiences now. No longer limiting yourself to the 5 senses. You see, this extraordinary way I speak sounds very logical. Once you start to embody this logical, then your sense of logic starts to mesh in and integrate with the divine feminine, thus honing in on these 2 powerful possibilities. And this is where time comes to play. So I'm speaking to the rational thinking mind because, such as myself, we've all been indoctrinated, square hat, past video, look for that one. Saturn, just look for the Saturn one, the one about Saturn, that hexagon, that thinky thing, 5 points and all that, but it's a different video. So as we experience graduating from indoctrination, hopefully you're one of them on the other side. I'm more than hopeful. I know that I'm attracting those who are seeing the same. I know this. You start to see how humans have been molded here to stay within this fusion-like state, keeping the atomic energy, making you feel and believe that atomic energy is simply produced outside of you, like an atomic bomb. But it's your atomic energy that aligns with the same frequency as those who create the capacity of a nuclear or atomic bomb. Yet you hold the fragments of the potential within each cell the same frequency as atomic energy, as in atoms. And you're gonna have all these OG scientists gonna come crack down on me and say, you know, scientifically, this is you're seeing things differently. Plasma out there is not the same as plasma in your bloodline. And I'm telling you, you're gonna prove me wrong 10 out of 10 times. Congratulations. I'm speaking to you, but I'm not at the same time. I'm not speaking in the state of science, I'm speaking in the state of human ascension. See, in the state of science, if I showed you, you would have to come to me. If I showed you how little old me I mean, compared to like a 250-pound man who trains in MMA, could take a motherfucker out, not because I'm just a fighter, but because the prowess and the power and the potential of spinal cord energy, of tapping into your cerebral spinal cord fluid, and with patience and energy cultivation, measured in time, and I'm getting to that, I'm able to not simply exude my intent out of my hand and project it onto others on contact, but I can also do it before the contact is formed. So for example, if you come at me, the war is already ended. Neurological warfare is done on a molecular scale. And as a layman, I've trained on this and in this. And although I may not have the capacity, because I choose not to open up that particular book to explain to somebody who thinks logically that I can promote healing. You can too. Anybody can do this, but it takes cultivation, just like anything else. You want to make an atomic bomb using your own force and become the high-ranking witch or warlock? Well, it's been done. People are capable of doing that. Do you get karma in exchange? Sure. Everything happens with an exchange. So investing into the harm of someone else when the exchange means that you're here to promote your level of homeostasis once again because you've been attacked. That's the exchange of why I would cause harm unto someone else. In the scenario I provided, little old me, compact old me, with a big old motherfucker. Doesn't matter how big you are. See, once you enter the realm of a shark within the shark's ocean, you're swimming in that shark's ocean. So once a person or a perp wants to attack within my auric field, it doesn't matter what gung fu they have. It doesn't even matter if they have a gun. Because when it's my time, it's my time. So if it's not my time right there, and we're gonna get to time in a minute, then it's not that I just beat you, it's just that there was never a war. See, the gung fu that I train, limiting myself to my extraordinary arms and legs, the extension of myself is not limited to me. So as you come at me, again, this is the training, and the only way I can prove this is one-on-one. That's the science for me. Is that energy doesn't lie. So if you have ill intent, doesn't matter how bad of a fighter you are, the energy will retract back to you immediately, instantaneously. See, the karmic value in exchange between you causing harm to me in this example, as I'm trying to unravel something even bigger than this, back to you it's going to be instantaneous. Which again, I'm using this as a prime example, as that there are other worlds that there's no scientific book can crack and decode until you're physically in action and in cultivating not just what you desire and not just what makes sense to you, but how can you actually make it into physical form, and then how can you test it out. So I've been testing it out and failing and dying since 1989, since I've been training in this style of Kung Fu called Xing Yi Chuan. You feel what I'm saying? So when you enter this shark's auric field, you have to understand and you have to know death. And the way you attack me anyway, right, was not that you are not afraid of death, is that you felt like you could dominate someone else. And that's where the game of chess begins and ends immediately as you tag in and plug into the game of chess, because game is over. Because I will drag you into the depth of the hell that you think you're coming from. Why is that? Because what's hell for you is training for me. See, if I throw myself or throw you into a shark tank, what's hell for me, it's normal to a shark. That's what I'm getting at. Shark ain't hating you. It's just the frequency field of a shark. If that shark's fucking hungry or if it's antagonized, what happens? So I train in a 12 animal system. So it's like almost like to this logical thinking mind person, just in case you're on the other side. It's almost like I can choose any one of those 12 animals. And then in the higher levels of Kung Fu training, years and years and years, you start morphing into different animals, and then and depending on your blueprint and how you train and your morphology, your body and the way that you're designed, and again the fire that you hold, right? If you're like a really big man, then you're gonna work with bear within my system, because a bear doesn't give two living fucks how big you are, because again, just the power and the weight of your bones, right? When you take a little man like me and then I start training a bear after a long time, well, I might end up more powerful than you in the ways and I'm mentioning, simply because I'm honing into the frequency of the spirit of the bear, A lot more than you're training into your natural weight and size. And most of the time, if you're really training yourself, you have no business or thought or pattern to attacking somebody in the hood in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So once one loses the fear of that, then the training begins. And this brings me back to time. Once you can make yourself aware of what time is, T-I-M-E. And I said this before, time backwards, it's emit. The reversal of time, just by making it aware to yourself, is emission. We emit. We're energy beings. We do receive to emit. They need us to make sure that we not just become logically aware of it, but so that we don't make this our kung fu, so that you don't make this your kung fu. Why? Because then the logical, rational thinking creator mind who created this, it's not a person or individual, it's a conscious field, a very ancient one that's here to do simply just like a shark. It's cold. You ever look into the eyes of a shark? It's cold. It's not evil, it's just cold. It's only designed for one thing. Simply as a machine. It's hungry, it eats. You're hungry, you eat. You don't even pay attention to how the chicken got killed. Right? So it's not outside of us. So the shark is here to remind us that there are versions of us when we're not aware to our capacity to maim, to kill, or to be killed. And the fear of death. The fear of living. So they want to keep us constantly battling all of these micro traumas or possibilities so that you don't even come to the hood and try me out. Because you're probably scared that you're going to whip my butt, go to jail. Well, I'm going to whip yours, right? It's all these fears of this stupidity where obviously if you tested me and you came to me, right, I'm gonna speak my truth. But the whole point is not to prove it to you. The whole point is so that we could probably become friends and we can share this information so that you can collapse the bullshit that made you want to come test me, as an example, right? Maybe the bullshit as to why I think I can kick your ass, which I know I can. all right. But the joy of having an ego is that is a young man growing up into realizing that it's so much bigger and something more beautiful can be formed with that. And at the end of the day, you lick your wounds and you become a lot more powerful, right? I've gone years into wishing somebody could collapse my ego when I was in my 20s. When, like, honestly, y'all don't even probably know, but I was a bail bondsman in my early 20s, and I used to arrest people for a living. And without going too deep into it, but I used to low-key train people that were in, I don't want to talk about it too much because it's calling people out, because I used to train alongside with people who worked with the Warren Squad. They were friends of mine, and I believe they're retired by now. Can't even remember their names. I was in my early 20s. And I was working with a different mindset, right? I wanted to work within the law system to start to recreate a new way. Because I feel that police officers even today are ill-trained. You see, it's like maybe you can choose to go to MMA or some kind of like fighting school so that you can develop the discipline so that you don't always have to pull out your gun. You feel what I'm saying? Because when you know what you know, somebody's coming at you, whether they're high on drugs, you've done the training, you've done the MOAB, right? You've done the managing and de-escalating situations. You've done MOAB training 1 and 2 and all that, just like the military. You've done all that, right? So have I. And when you live it, you have to live it as your kung fu. And most of y'all police officers out there aren't doing it. I'm not calling you out. It's just how the system is set, right? Lifting weights and looking real big, that's good. And it's going to keep that first line or that first illusion. But the whole point is that, why did you want to be a police officer in the first place? That's the big question. What is it that you're fighting out there, right? Because that war that you're always fighting, it's existing for a reason in your mind. So that was a world that I lived in, right? So going back to time with this is how time started to collapse as I started to graduate with my ego, with no ego, then bringing and registering my ego back into this reality, right? And then I can co-create, construct, and collapse different levels of conversation that will irk you, that will tickle you pink, right? That will make me fucking laugh. You feel what I'm saying? So The bigger picture is how I'm orchestrating something that becomes revealed to me right in the moment. With everything that I am saying from this video, and if you go back to this video and look at it again, at first sight, everything I'm saying seems to be all over the fucking place. Like a timeless fucking piece. The point that's being unraveled as we speak, as I speak, is that there is no point. There is no time. Time is me. And I'll finish with this last part. So I can like now go deeper with the point of this video. The point of this video. I met a woman who was working on her PhD. She was a substitute teacher at my high school when I was growing up. And she was doing her, what is it, a thesis or whatever you want to call it to get your PhD? Can't think of the terms right now. But she was working on, getting her PhD in philosophy. And her thesis, or whatever you want to call it, is, I think there's another term, right? Was on the word it. And she was studying it, and she was like 4 years into it. And I think she said she needed like 3 more years. It was like a 7-year kind of like a program. She was studying the word it. Like, what is it? Why are we always attributing towards it? Like it doesn't make sense. What is it? What is it? Where is it going? And who is it? And it means so many things. So I laughed, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, what the fuck is she studying? But that stuck with me. It stuck with me my entire life. And she did say this with her studies. She said that when you study something such as the word it, you have to study the reverse of it. So T-I-I-T is the same in a sentence. And when you're going deep within, and especially with her field of philosophy, I can imagine, with the study of it, and this example is that it is when you can study it in a word and see how it alters and changes and morphs that word or a term. And the class wasn't taking her serious, and I was laughing too. And yeah, it was my ego and being ignorant. That's just how I received it. But she altered my life because she was one of the first ones to claim it. Get it? And I was like, yeah, true, what the fuck is it? So I was like, I don't want to go crazy like her. She seemed like she was off, but the thing is those are the most beautiful people in the world, because those are the ones that are offering a glitch of the time and the illusion of it. Because now we can study time, T-I, which is it in reverse. T-I, it is me, right? Then M-it, or emit, is backwards. Time is me. And when you emit it, collapsing the illusion of it, whatever it is, whatever time is, by seeing it for what it is, that it is a co-creation of me reflecting back at me. And when I'm able to receive that way, then I emit. And I know it sounds like I'm going through a little loop with that. When you start to collapse what you were taught and indoctrinated to believe in it, because we don't know why the fuck we're being indoctrinated for all these schooling systems to work for a corporation that has no interest in you. Their investment is in the interest of your chi, of your time, measured. So your chi is what's vital, measured in time, such as electricity, such as the gas from your public service bill. The illusion is that is where they're making their money. But keeping your ass warm and wet so that you can take a shower and do shit at home has everything to do with you. If you don't exist in that home, then not even public service or the utility bill would even work. It collapses when you collapse it. So time is me. It is me. Now, you cannot alter or chase time because you've been doing that your whole life. We're all masters at that. And chasing time, we're running out of time, as some people would say. And they ain't wrong. You're running out of time, right? Everything's measured to your birth and to your death. Making sure that you stay within that box. And always after you die is when you're going to see it all. So don't worry. God is good all the time. And that's how everybody starts dancing with that music. Keeping you within a form of construction, of forming it and not knowing what it is. And the thing is, when you find it, which I've been trying to find it, and I'm sure that PhD lady still looking for it. You know what? I want to give her credit. I think I think as I tap in intuitively, I think she found it. Finally, she graduated. But I graduated too just now with you. We all graduated. Once you can change perspectives on it, not trying to change it or not trying to even emit time. Observe, do not absorb. Once you're able to do that every moment and every breath that you make, just because it's making sense to you. Never mind that you could probably whip my ass and you want to test me out right now after I said what I said in the past video. But you're still there. You're still here with me. You feel what I'm saying? So there's got to be something to what I'm saying. When you're able to observe as I have, especially now, maybe not 5 years ago, maybe especially not 10 years ago, but anywhere from 2 to 5 years ago, probably not. But time has been altered and bending. The illusion, all of it is being morphed because time is speeding up. Because time and space and light can only bend with the will of expansiveness, of the expansiveness of consciousness. Consciousness expands with or without you because you're separated from it. But once you become one with consciousness, the universal, celestial realms, all realms, just consciousness, you're no longer separate from it. There is no it. You are now recollaborated towards the mission, being charged and being led by the beating of the drums of your very heart. Tick tock, tick tock. And instead of seeing and feeling the beats of a donga or a conga or a kango of the drums, they got you saying tick tock, tick tock. That this connection was in words. That was the original spell. So English is actually, like a lot of people would say, it's actually like other languages such as Hebrew backwards, the way we're supposed to be thinking and experiencing, which is actually like the other way around, right to left. Which is why I came in this world left-handed. Well, on camera probably looks like right hand, but it's, again, the illusion. It's my left hand. Is it me? The camera show like this is me. Well, you can let me know. But this is my left hand on my side of the illusion. Once you can allow to expand your awareness and observe the illusion, not trying to alter or change it and not trying to absorb it, simply by observing it with pure curiosity. See the TV, the time when people speak, the license plates on vehicles if you have a car and you drive, how time will start hovering and start speaking to you to a point where every time you start seeing time, there's always going to be, always in the moment, going to be a synchronicity. And it will probably happen in bits and pieces in the beginning, but as you keep accepting and allowing the programming to just simply collapse, because now you're seeing things in a new light that makes you immediately aligned with universal consciousness. Then you become the observer of how time is being altered. And time thus collapses towards the center of your core, which is why you become the observant. This is why you become the observer. And so that you don't get lost in it, you begin to emit your levels, your attunement, not just with gratitude, but with the great joy that you are finally graduating beyond the veil of not just simply human, but the expansive criteria of what was hidden from us, of what actually is being human, which is to be a child no more. Meaning you don't chase the time, you don't chase the clock, you don't chase the paycheck anymore. That's the next step. You don't create currency, or you don't sign up, and you no longer sign into the currency of your time being why and how you get paid, so that you can have all the nice things. You allow it all to collapse. No longer cutting it in half, because it is me. And once the time collapses, gonna be crazy, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, sis. I see you. Then you allow for the great universe to remind you in this avatar, in this vessel, how to restructure time to favor your highest good, and also for the greatest good of all beings, always the same. All right, so I don't know if I made a great connection with my fighting side self, because I have many, because I carry several avatars. I have 12 of them. One pisses me off, that one came out. But I know some of y'all gonna want to train alongside with me, and that will bring me great joy that I taught you something to train how to kick my ass with. And like the great father, I want to see my children grow. No, for real. I love cross training with people with different styles, because for me that's drinking a cup of tea. That is, winning or losing is irrelevant. It's not even about that. But hopefully you can crack the shell and see as to why I mentioned it, because what happens is that when I start to speak with certain tones when it comes to the field of science, I irk other people. And I was intentionally speaking to them because there's only a certain level or a certain way that they can comprehend and understand. And so on the neurological side, I have my way of also implanting with them, so that in their own time, because they could hate the living shit out of me, but that's what it is. When that person, when they irk you in that right time, that's the seed. You know, that's actually the shaman right there, bro. The shaman, she's a woman. The shaman also will show you how you fear death. They'll bring you into the depths of things that will irk you, that will hate you. And the shaman is okay by being the medicine woman with being hated on. I'm talking about a real shaman, not by title, not by certifications, and not simply by birthright neither, but the one who gatekeeps the bullshit from the motherlands. That one. She's very rare. Most likely she's not on social media. She might be. If she is, tell her to hit me up. No, all right. I mean, yeah, she should. Yeah. Well, I should. But I don't know if you don't connect us. She's probably not even looking. All right. So that's one of the challenges. You sprinkle a little bit of how people see time, and not everybody's going to resonate, and that's okay. Just not on my watch, not on my clock, not on my time. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, that was a corny dad joke. Love you.